This guy made $6 million selling pet rocks, and yes, he was no more talented than you. We live in a world where you can get rich beyond your wildest dreams by selling your skills, your ideas, or if you're brilliant like Gary Dahl, you can become a millionaire by simply selling pet rocks. You might think this is a story of luck, a story of being in the right place at the right time, but it is actually a story of a genius who spotted a major opportunity and went all in. In this video, we will explore how Gary Dahl showed the world he was a marketing expert, and by the end of the video, hopefully you will have gained some knowledge or motivation to start your own business. So let's set the scene. It's the mid 1970s and California is a place experiencing counterculture movements and a thirst for the unconventional. Gary and a few of his friends are sitting at a bar having a few beers. Like many pet owners, his friends were complaining about how their pets were too expensive, they made too much of a mess, and they would chew the furniture. Gary drunkenly made a joke that his pet rock required little to no care and that pet rocks were definitely the way to go. This seemingly random and inconsequential joke would go on to turn Gary into a multi-millionaire, all because he saw something no one else did. See, in business you want to differentiate yourself from your competition. Why should customers purchase your pet rock over any other regular rock? To create this unique selling point, most entrepreneurs and business gurus would tell you need to think outside of the box. Well, in this case, Gary had to think inside the box, meaning he had to think about what else he could sell alongside his pet rock that would convince customers to purchase his product. This unique idea came in the shape of a 36-page instruction manual, which Gary typed up himself, and these would be sold alongside each of his pet rocks. Gary said in an interview, "People thought it was a joke, but that was the whole point. I wanted them to see the humor in it." While the pet rock was a fad that quickly faded, its impact on pop culture and the toy industry is still felt today. Remember when everyone had fidget spinners? The fidget spinner was created back in 1993. But just a few years ago, it saw a major resurgence in recent years. Unfortunately, the inventor of the fidget spinner never actually made much money from it. Catherine Hedinger, inventor of the beloved toy, invented the fidget spinner in 1993, and soon after got the patent for her invention, but unfortunately it expired in 2005 when she couldn't afford the $400 renewal fee. If you're having a bad day, hey, at least you didn't miss out on all the profits from fidget spinners. In my opinion, this is a huge injustice and Catherine should get more recognition for her work. So you may be asking, how do these winning products sell millions of units? A vital part of the pet rock success was creating a product that would invoke emotion to the customer. This is how brands such as Starbucks are able to sell coffee at a much higher price than local coffee shops. Starbucks make you feel something by offering you a status symbol. See, a lot of people subconsciously buy Starbucks not for the taste, but for what it represents. Yes, I mean, everyone could technically just make coffee at home, but instead people choose to walk around with Starbucks and pay far in excess of what it would cost at home. This is due to Starbucks invoking a sense of self-worth and status. In the case of pet rocks, well, the instruction manual aids in creating an identity for the pet rock. It brings the rock to life. See, without the instruction manual, the rock is just that, a rock. But with the instruction manual, it becomes material. It becomes even animal-like. To complete the intended effect, the pet rocks arrived in cardboard carrying cases with air holes punched in them. To finish truly bringing the rock to life, the pet rock was packaged in straw. My favourite detail of the whole thing though is one of the instructions in the manual. It reads, "If when you remove the rock from its box it appears to be excited, place it on some old newspaper. The rock will know what the paper is for and will require no further instruction. It will remain on the paper until you remove it." I mean, how much of a marketing genius do you have to be to think of that? If you're a nerd like me, you'll know about the term zoomorphism and anthropomorphism in business, but those would require a whole video on their own, so maybe there will be one in the future. Anyway, back to the pet rocks. Now Gary had his product, but he needed to market it effectively. He priced each pet rock at $3.95, which is a seemingly absurd amount for a simple rock that someone could literally pick up from the side of the street. He now had his product, his unique selling point, and he had determination. Now all that he needed was a customer. Well, lots of customers. Pet rocks hit the market just in time for Christmas of 1975, and the pet rock was then featured on The Tonight Show and in more newspaper articles than anyone could count. Gary couldn't believe his luck. He described in an interview he literally had a phone to each ear, and in 2011 he said he had to teach his PR guy how to impersonate him so that he could handle all the calls. Gary had officially made it. Gary had done the impossible. He had been able to upgrade his Honda to a Mercedes. He now had bought a new house that came with a pool. He even said that the pool alone was bigger than his old house. He was officially living the American dream. This was sadly until the money dried up. By 1975, the fad had gotten old and sales were rapidly declining. To add to this, in the late 1970s, Mr. Dahl was sued by his original investors who claimed they had received far too small of a share of the profits. A court frowned in their favour, and he was obliged to pay a 6-figure settlement. Looking back on it, Gary sure did have a good run. From the money he made from pet rocks, Mr. Dahl opened a saloon and ran a sailboat brokerage before returning back to advertising. Before researching this topic, I did not know he was the author of Advertising for Dummies, first published in 2001. This is a book I have seen many times but have yet to read. Leave a comment down below if you read this book or knew Gary wrote this. Gary sadly passed away in 2015, aged 78, in Jacksonville, or. Gary helped shape many advertising campaigns and he will be remembered by many. If you watched this far, thank you, and leave a comment on what story I should make a video on next.